Hello everyone, today I'm back with another boba video since I know you all love them. I'll be checking out Kung Fu Tea, which is one of the most popular boba chains, and I've never tried them before, which is actually a surprise considering all the different boba shops I've tried. But either way, let's go, because I'm pretty curious. I'm back with the drinks and I decided to get a variety of the best sellers at Kung Fu Tea since I've never tried them before, and I feel like that's a pretty good representation of their menu, so I tried to get a variety of drinks. And the first one I want to start off with is their original milk tea, because you gotta have a really good and solid boba milk tea. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. It feels promising since the boba still feels warm. I want to preface this by saying that I'm a boba connoisseur, and I'll be honest, I'm a little bit picky about when it comes to my boba tea, but for me, this is a very mediocre drink. First off, the taste of the tea feels really watered down. I would say the quality of the tea itself is alright, it's not bad, but it's also not great, and the milk flavor is also pretty diluted since you use milk powder instead of real milk in here, but I do know that a lot of boba shops tend to use milk powder since it's just cheaper and easier to make. But my main criticism of this is it just tastes very watered down, and I ordered this drink with light ice, so there really isn't a whole lot of ice in here, so it almost feels like the tea just wasn't brewed long enough. I think my strongest criticism though of this drink is the boba itself, because the boba is really quite hard. I mean, I just ordered this boba and drank it pretty much immediately, and like I said, the boba was definitely supposedly fresh since it felt really nice and warm, but I'm not sure what went wrong because it is very hard, and it honestly tastes like I left the boba drink in the refrigerator for maybe 2 hours or so. For my next drink, I'm going to try out the Cocoa Wow Cap, and this one looks pretty interesting, and I do have higher hopes for it since it's topped off with some cream, and again, the boba is piping hot, but we already know that the boba probably won't be great with this drink either, but I'm just going to give this a shake to mix everything all together. Okay, this drink is definitely better than the last drink. For starters, there's a much richer milky flavor since this is made with real milk, and what I do kind of like is the brown sugar flavor. It does taste a little bit artificial, like they're using an artificial brown sugar syrup versus like real just melted brown sugar. But the boba texture is a little bit better on this one as well, although it's still too hard. This time it tastes like you put boba and left it in the fridge for maybe 1 hour instead of 2 hours, so it's almost edible. But the thing with this is I just feel like it's a little bit on the sweet side, which is how most brown sugar drinks tend to be. Now I'm going to be moving on to the passion fruit green tea, and already I feel a little bit skeptical of this. Usually I love passion fruit green tea, and it's one of my go-to drinks at any new boba shop I try out, but here it just looks like they're using a syrup because it's like neon orange looking. You know, so far, I think this might be the best drink so far. I'm still not super crazy about it. For starters, you got the passion fruit syrup, which tastes really artificial, and not necessarily in a good way. In a way, it almost sort of reminds me of medicine, but it does taste reminiscently fruity and sort of reminiscent of passion fruit. And then to go along with that, I feel like the tea they're using for this, which is just green tea, it's not very high quality because it tastes like really strong and bitter, and it almost makes your mouth shrivel up, and I think it's just way overbrewed. Now I'll be going for the Oolong Tea Milk Cap, and this one I think might be a little bit better since I did think the first milk cap had a little bit of promise, and this one with the Oolong Tea, I think it'll just be a little bit nicer. Oh no, this one is not it. Wow, I hate to say it, but this has got to be the worst one so far. Again, just like the passion fruit green tea, it has a really strong bitter flavor, and it also tastes earthy. You know, normally earthy would be something I would use to describe as a tasty food, but this is like a bad taste of earthiness. To me, I just imagine this is how it would taste like to eat a whole bunch of potting soil. It almost smells like potting soil on a really wet and rainy day, and then all that taste was just condensed down into a boba milk tea drink. So I don't know what they're using, but this really doesn't taste like high quality oolong tea. Now for the lychee black tea, and maybe this has a chance since lychee is one of my favorite fruits. However, I still don't feel optimistic considering how bitter their tea has been so far. Well, good news is this one does taste the best so far, I can officially say that, but it still doesn't taste great. And I think the reason that this is okay is because it just mostly tastes like canned lychees. It almost just tastes like pure canned lychee juice that's then blended up into a pulp, since you have small little pieces of lychee fruit in here, and I really don't taste the tea at all. It does have a nice balance of sweetness and tartness, but again, it's really just alright. Now for our second to last drink, and thank goodness we've made it here. Usually by now in a boba video, I would just be really happy after drinking so many delicious drinks, but at this point in this video, I'm honestly quite happy to be almost near the end. Alright, here we go. Wow, once again, I gotta say that this is one of their weakest drinks on the menu. I think you just don't do green tea well at all, or perhaps I've just gone on a very off day here for Kung Fu tea, but it's very strong and bitter, just like the other green tea I had. And then my other major problem is this mango tea so artificial, again, maybe even more artificial than all the other flavors I've tried so far, and it's artificial again in a very negative way, because to me, it just tastes like plastic. It almost tastes like chemicals, and I don't know who would think this is a really delicious and tasty drink. So again, perhaps they made a mistake, but I just wouldn't recommend it. Phew, we finally made it to our last drink, which is the coconut milk tea. Oh wow, this is definitely not great either. It's so sweet, even though I ordered it 70% sweet, which is what I got pretty much all the other drinks at. So I guess this one isn't bitter, but again, this one's overly sweet. The main problem with this is the taste of the coconut, because it is so artificial, just like all the rest of them. The best way to describe this coconut flavor is, to me, it almost tastes like a coconut suntan lotion / sunscreen, or maybe even just regular old body lotion. It really tastes like something that should be going on the outside of your body, not on the inside of your body. Overall, I would say for me, this was a very disappointing first experience at Kung Fu Tea, and I think it's safe to say that this will be my last time here at Kung Fu Tea, because overall, I was just really disappointed with the quality of the drinks. Everything from the texture of the boba to the quality of their tea and the quality of their fruit flavors and such, because everything just tasted so artificial. I think what's also worth mentioning is I don't always dislike artificial flavors. I do think they have their place and time, but I do enjoy some candies that incorporate artificial flavors. However, I think in the case of milk tea and fruit tea, artificial flavors just don't belong. And especially here, they use some really not so pleasant tasting artificial flavors too that really just taste like a cocktail of chemicals. One thing that's important to note about Kung Fu Tea is their tea prices are a lot cheaper compared to most boba tea shops. However, I will say it's totally not worth visiting here just because of how poor quality it is, and I'd much rather spend a little bit more money to get a far better tasting boba tea. Anyways, I really hope you all enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.